Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Friday, April 17th, 2026. TGIF, baby. Song going through my head this morning from back in the days when, before streaming, before the internet, before Sirius XM. Uh, Up in New Jersey, there was a New York station, WPLJ, and there was Scott and Todd in the morning. Remember all the morning shows on the radio? And one of the morning shows, Scott and Todd in the morning on Fridays, they would play that song. I don't want to work. I just want to bang on the drums all day. I don't want to play. I just want to bang on the drums all day. That's how I'm feeling this morning. I'm feeling a little tired, feeling a little this I'll admit it. The knee surgery still kicking my ass a little bit. I thought I'd be up and running around by now, and a little frustrated. There's a little more to this than I was I thought I was Mighty Mouse and I would do better. So anyway, good morning. My name is Hammer. I am the founder of Hammer Solutions, home of great products such as Originator, Success, Grab and Go Social, and Rate Sensei. Go check them out. Find out how we can help you to get more loans on Google and social media. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning. I go live to talk about what's going on in the headlines, the rates, the markets, what's affecting us in the mortgage world, specifically with mortgage markets and pricing. So today we've got some exciting stuff to talk about. There is an announcement of an open to commercial traffic for the Strait of Hormuz. In my written lock advice the last few days, I have been pointing out that we couldn't see rates take that really next level to drop until we saw the Strait of Hormuz open. This is a nice gift on a Friday because we've got that today. So we're going to talk all about what effect it's having on the markets and what you could see. Remember, if you're here this morning, say good morning. Let me know you're here. Good morning, Deb Dickinson and Rob Stewart and all the rest of you. If you want a reminder to go live with me each and every weekday morning, you can sign up for that reminder, hmmr.io/reminder, or use this cool QR code over here. You can also sign up for our free written lock advice, www.ratelockadvice.com, and our text alerts at ratetextalerts.com. So go check those out. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump in and get started. We'll take a look here. Let's start off by taking a look at the technicals. Let me go ahead and pull up the screen. We'll go over that together real quick. We'll start off with a quick recap here. You can see before we get to this lovely ramp up right here, which is today's pricing, let's just take a look at what happened yesterday. That's everything in front of the yellow line here. So yesterday, pricing came out around 10 a.m. Bonds drifted lower through the day. It wasn't enough to get a reprice worse, but it was enough that it was just like a blah day. It looked like things were kind of blah, right? So we did end the day a little bit worse than where we came out with pricing. Again, not really enough, though, that we had to worry about any reprices worse on the day. So that was at least a good thing. However, today you are going to see much better rate sheets. Look at this huge jump up in mortgage-backed securities. The 5.0 coupon currently up 36 basis points. I'm going to switch back to the 5.0 on Monday. Let's also take a look at the 5.5 for today as we transition those, since we've been monitoring that all week. You'll notice this one is still up 20 basis points. Not as strong as the 5.0. The reason we're seeing that is because you're seeing rates move lower, and therefore you're going to see the lower coupon get a little more action. So yesterday, rate sheets ended the day about the same as where they were the day before, right around that 6.32. Today, being that we're up about 30 basis points, you should see a nice drop here to about 6.25. Should be about 6.25 is what I would say. If we were betting man on Mortgage News Daily, we should see a rate of about 6.25 today. Should pick up close to an eighth in rate on that. And you can see that is the best, the best pricing we've had in a month. We had 6.29 over here. We'll definitely blow that away. But pricing rate sheets continuing to improve. The reason for the big improvement is because of the Strait of Hormuz being announced as completely open. This is a big, big deal. So, but anyway, reprice risk on the day is low. It's unlikely that we have to worry too much about this turning around. The Strait of Hormuz now completely open for commercial ships. Iran announced the Strait of Hormuz is now completely open for commercial traffic. Brent oil fell as much as 10%, while WTI slumped near $85. I love how they use the word slumped like it's a bad thing. U.S.-Iran talks are expected to take place in Islamabad probably on Sunday, according to Axios. And this is the big thing that was kind of behind it all. And this one has not gotten a lot of, like it gets pressed, but we don't talk about it enough. It's actually been a big deal. Israel and Lebanon agreeing to a 10-day ceasefire. That was part of the requirement for Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz. So it's good that we do see this. And this is fantastic that we get that now. It's funny. This I had not seen, by the way. Since the war began, 22 ships have been attacked in the Strait of Hormuz and elsewhere in the Middle East. 10 seafarers have died, according to the National Maritime Organization. The last reported incident took place April 7th, and that was right around when we got that ceasefire. So the Strait of Hormuz being open, I'll just put that little caveat that it's open during the ceasefire. But with talks coming, we are anticipating that this thing will be coming up to an end. And yes, we could see rate sheets improve even further when we do see, a continued resolution. So a little bit of pullback from the initial strong reaction here. We're not at the best levels of the day. You could see that it was up a little bit higher, around 99.65. We're down around 99.58. I mean, we're still up close to 40 basis points on that 5.0 coupon, though. 10-year Treasury yield, it ended the day yesterday at 4.31, and you could see it was testing the blue line, which is the 25-day moving average. And again, I don't put too much stock in the technicals right now with all the different fundamentals, the headlines changing things. But we're now at 4.24. So you saw it go from 4.31, 3. This is hard to do with the finger on a mouse pad, right? So 4.31, we're down to 4.25, actually, because you got to round it, 4.25, still fantastic, right? So we're seeing the 10-year drop. Remember, the magic number that we'd like to see it drop below is 4.20. That is a technical level that we do watch. It has held up many, many, many times. We'd like to see that 10-year drop below 4.20. Not sure that it will today. But it could. We could see continued improvement as the day goes on. We'll have to see where that goes. So, that's kind of the technicals, the headlines, what's going on, what's driving everything. The outlook for rates, over the next 15 days, I would still be cautiously floating. Today, if you get a rate sheet that you just don't want to say no to, and the loan's closing in sometime in April, it's okay to lock it, right? I mean, there's certainly nothing negative to doing that. As long as progress continues with negotiations in the Middle East, we could, though, continue to see rate sheets improve a little bit further over the next couple of weeks, especially as traffic continues to move through the Strait of Hormuz and oil prices drop. So we've seen the initial reaction. Brent crude is around $90 a barrel right now. We'd love to see that drop down into the 70s. If we see that, that's going to be a nice big drop. That would help rates get down to about 6. We definitely will see, even though we've seen that disconnect between rate sheet pricing and what's going on directly with oil prices, you'll still see a pretty strong correlation there. Rate outlook for 15 to 30 days, cautiously float. Again, I wouldn't be in a hurry to lock loans that are closing in the early to mid-May. We do have time for things to continue to improve. The risk is that if something were to fall apart with the ceasefire, if the Strait of Hormuz were to be blocked again, if we had a re-escalation of action, that would, of course, create a problem. There's always that risk, but right now that risk seems low. We have a lot of momentum. It seems like Iran and the U.S. and the Trump administration want to get a deal done here and want to move past this. So the Fed meeting this month is also at the end of the month. And it could be interesting as we watch what's going on with that whole Powell-Warsh situation. Will Powell stay on pro tempore? He says yes. Trump will challenge that. That could actually go to the courts, could go to the Supreme Court. We'd have to see. Still too early to see how this could affect mortgage rates and rate sheets. I don't know that we could necessarily, that the Fed meeting is going to help. But one thing that we do want to see is that that there, with the announcement of the Strait of Hormuz being opened, look at the jump in a Fed rate cut at the end of the year. Remember, we were at about a 35%. It was 35.65, right? That's where we were yesterday, and today we're at like a coin flip. They're starting to see some betting that you could see even 2 rate cuts by the end of the year. But overall, it's basically a coin flip that markets would stay, that the Fed would stay where they're at here. So markets are starting to price this in, which is good to see, and definitely helpful. So keep that in mind as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And then 30 plus days, of course, I'm floating. There's no reason to lock anything. It's closing at the end of May or later. We've got plenty of reason to expect that rates could continue to creep lower as things open up, oil prices fall, and concerns about inflation ease. That's the big part of it. Excuse me, got to hiccups all of a sudden. So that's it for me, my friends. Any comments from y'all? What do you have to say? Yeah, Holly said it was a long ass week, but at least rates are going down. Rates are going down. Giddy up, Mr. Randy Tico. Good to see you, sir. I don't see Siegel telling us what any special things there are today. Let me know in the comments, what are y'all doing this weekend? I'm going to be taking it easy. I'm living the bachelor life. My wife, my mother-in-law, they are away at a scrapbooking event. I am still taking it easy. I'm going to fix the hot tub. I got a new spa pack in. I'm going to hobble my way down there and fix that thing and spend some time in the hot tub. Don't tell the doctor. I was told I'm not supposed to be in the hot tub. They're afraid of bacteria and infections, but my wound is closed up, and I'll throw a strip of Tegaderm over it just to be extra safe. But can't wait to spend some time in my hot tub, stretch my leg, bend my leg, work that muscles in that nice warm water. So, Nima said, let's see the Blue Ridge Mountains. Well, all right, let's see if I can get the lighting to work for you there. There you go. This is not the best view from my angle at this window, but here's my Blue Ridge Mountains right there. You could see. So that's from one of my living room windows. I had to take the hat off so I could lean over. That is from one of my living room windows. I've been doing the lives from down here in the morning just because it's a little bit easier for me than going up to the barn from that. So who else you got? Angela, got your son's flag football game. Taking mom to Top Golf for her birthday. Have fun there. I hear Top Golf is still a lot of fun. Indoor water park in Wisconsin Dells. Good for you. Have fun with that. So no, thank you, Nima. Brian Reed, Friday better rate sheets. What? I know, right? Normally Friday rate sheets are real conservative, especially going into a weekend where things are, where we're a little crazy. But yeah, I think you will see some pretty nice rate sheets today. I don't think lenders are going to hold back too much on this. With talks on Sunday, there's not a lot of potential problems to run into. So yes, Angela, it's nice to finally catch a break on rates and see them come down a little bit. Now the question is, how do you capitalize on that with consumers, agents? How do you kind of get the most out of it? So Holly Johnson, high school baseball all weekend. Have fun with that. I was never a big baseball fan, so I'll watch it live, but watching the kids in high school play is probably more fun than the other stuff. So, well, anyway, thank you, my friends. I will be here on Monday. We'll see what we've got. We'll see if rates are continuing to move lower as we head into next week. We're going to the Fed blackout period, by the way, so we haven't been talking about the Fed speakers. They've been speaking all week, but they really didn't say anything that moved markets, so it didn't matter. Umpiring tennis. Well, very good for that. Have fun, and I hope you have great weather. If it's outdoors, I think most tennis is outdoors, right? I know there's indoor tennis too, but I know most tennis. I think a lot of tennis is outdoors. So, but anyway, we'll see what next week brings. We could see rates continue to creep a little bit lower. I think this is going to spur a little bit of activity. So, get out there with the markets, my friends. Let's go get some business. All right. Thank you again for joining me on this lovely Friday. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I will see you on Monday. Remember, be sure to join me 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. See you then. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.